About 6 months ago now, the lovely people at Cycplus were nice enough to send me one of their pumps. This one. It was boasted as the world's smallest electric pump, and like, it is teeny tiny. It is a tiny pump, and it is essentially, it's got one button on the top. You press it, it starts making loads of noise. The intake is the USB-C charger, which I thought was quite cool, and then it pumps up your tyres. Simple as that. It's got a little silicone cover to put on it and stuff, and I absolutely adore it. I've used it. I haven't actually used it that much, but I've carried it with me constantly. So there's a bunch of things that I love about this pump and why I've carried it with me so long. So number one, it's really light. It's about 97 grams. I think that's potentially exactly what it is. Sometimes I get numbers correct. It's able to do up to 100 PSI as far as pressure goes. The battery life is really good on it. I tend to charge it every now and then just to make sure that it is charged, but I left it for a couple of months once and it still had battery in it when I needed it. It should last, if you're actually using it, roughly 2 tyres. I think it rated about 80 PSI twice, roughly, or like 1 tyre at 100 PSI and 1 almost, sort of thing. But the more I used it, the more I realised there was actually a couple of things it was missing. So this is the AS2 Pro. It's very similar form factor as far as the size. You can see it's ever so slightly longer, but that is because it has a display on it now. So that was one of the things that I felt that it was kind of missing, was the fact that it didn't have a pressure gauge on there. I'm not the sort of guy that worries about that too much. If it feels hard enough, I'm sure it's fine. But it's nice to know, especially on my mountain bikes and some of the more kind of like desirable tyres that, like, you know, need that little bit of extra something. Having an accurate pressure gauge is a big thing. The other thing was the actual battery. It's not necessarily the battery life. Like I said, it sat in my bag for months and it usually had enough battery to pump up a tyre. But it was more about those kind of times when you're pumping multiple tyres up, maybe when I'm working on bikes and things. The fact I only did 2 and then that was it, sometimes wasn't enough. This new one has the capacity to do 2 tyres at 110 PSI, I had to check that then. But like in the real world, like a lot of the tyres that I pump up aren't going much higher than 50, definitely not any higher than 60. So it could almost do 4 tyres on one charge, which is way better. Between the Pro and the original AS2, the weight difference is about 23 grams. So if you are, or 22 grams maybe, but if you are one of those people that are counting all those grams, that original pump is probably going to be still the best one for you. But if you're one of these normal people like me who just uses their pumps for commuting or wherever they might be, this is ideal for those sort of things. And like I say, it still weighs nothing for normal people, so this is really good. Before we move on to the second pump that they've released, I think you probably want to see that nail go through that tyre. In the original video that I'll link below, I do puncture the tyre and repair it and talk about pro tips for repairing tyres. Come on brain, catch up. But that will be linked down below if you want to go check that out. But for the people that haven't seen that video before and kind of just want to see it now, let's put the nail through the tyre for science, purely for science. Oof, that is painful to watch. You know what's not painful though? Popping onto my website, spray.bike.com. It's where I have all my stickers and all the stickers you can purchase to support this channel. I am getting to the bottom of the barrel at the moment with the stock levels, so there's lots of things that are out of stock. There's a few things that I have quite a few of because they weren't purchased that long ago, so they're still okay, but most things are coming to the last legs. I have a big order on the way. It should be here hopefully in a week-ish, but Friday is my birthday. So I've got a special limited edition sticker pack coming out. These are my two favourite stickers that I ever released. The Bulky Boy Bike Club, which is probably the most famous sticker on my website now. I've had it in many colours. This is the Keyline Pie version. Once this one's gone, we won't do it again. And then it will come with a Second Life Bikes skull and crossbone logo, which is pretty neat. Pretty neat, never said that before. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, this is the website right here. Those will be available on Friday, so they're not available whilst you're watching this video, unless you're watching this video on Friday, or even if you're watching this video after that, then they will probably be available now. But if you are watching it today, when this comes out, there's other stuff on there as well. Should we look at the second pump that they've released? Yeah, I think so. And this is the AS2 Pro Max. Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks exactly the same. And essentially it is. It's not actually much bigger. You can see from this clips here, like they are very, very similar. Like you're looking at like maybe a finger's width difference on the top and on the side. Like it is very minimal. The Pro and the Pro Max both do 120 psi as the max kind of pressure or output they can do, where the Pro was only doing 2 tires at 120 psi. Sorry, 110 psi. The Pro Max can do 4 at 120, which is really impressive. The Pro can hit that 120 psi in 2 minutes, which for real time, that's nothing. But the Max can do it in 75 seconds, which is pretty cool sounding, isn't it, really? So yeah, big differences, and not a lot of difference in actual size. The Max is the one that I've been carrying for a little while, and I've used it a couple of times. I've let down a friend's tire just to try it, and they weren't that impressed with that, and I really like it. It works super well, and it in the real world of commuters and using this as a normal person, this doesn't take a lot of room in my bag, and it is light. It doesn't weigh anything. It is super light still. On that point, it does weigh a lot more than the original AS2, for example. Just to kind of put those in perspective, you've got 97 grams, 120 grams, and then 205. So it does rack up a little bit. This is more than double the weight of the original AS2, but again, like it is still nothing. And like in a bag of bits and pieces for your commute, you ain't gonna notice. But like I said, I've been using the AS2 Pro Max, so I have some footage of it in action. The Pro and the Pro Max do come with little accessory pouches as well, which includes that little pipe you could see on that I was using then. I was using a Strada valve on the cargo bike, so I did only have, so I needed to use this, which is pretty useful. And there's a lot of pumps that have these sort of things with them. They're normally crap and don't really work too well, and you don't want to use it. But this works fine, so really useful. But that about wraps up that video. If you are interested in these pumps, and if you've watched this long, I imagine you are, do check out the link down in the description below. They are released as of today, and you can pick them up. I am a big fan of these pumps. It's the only reason I made this video and agreed to kind of work with them again, because it is a product that I've been sent and I've used constantly ever since. So big fan of Cycplus. They make some great products, and yeah, I'm a big fan. if you enjoy this type of content, we do a lot of bike builds. We are starting to do more reviews around here, but we do a lot of bike builds. So if you are interested in something like that, do feel free to hit subscribe just there. And if you can't wait until the next video, this one here is a particularly good one.